Hello everyone, welcome to today's class on the list. I'm really excited. This should be a really fun technique, something you should enjoy, and more importantly, something that's going to be incredibly effective. I've been teaching this technique for several years and it still astonishes me to hear some of the stories from my clients and students after they've done this. So I want you guys to have fun with this. I want you to actually put your energy and your focus and your presence into this because it is honestly miraculous. Now, when we talk about the list, what we're doing is a particular technique, a particular form of approach in order to manifest and align with a romantic soulmate partnership. And it doesn't take a lot. So we're going to go through what we need, how to do it, and some real key factors that I want you guys to consider while creating this. So per usual, no matter what technique, no matter what class we're having, I think it's very, very important to always clear your space. Whenever I teach this to my students or to my clients, I tell them you want to be very present. So I highly suggest doing this at the end of the day when you're not distracted, maybe after you take a shower, and literally wash the day off of you and you get nice and centered. Now, I'm big on cleansing my space, maybe lighting a candle, saging yourself, saging your place, and sitting down to do this work. And all you're really going to need is a pen and a piece of paper. Yes, this is something we have to do physically, so no typing this out. We're going to go old school because this is the best way that it works. Now, in a nutshell, the list is creating kind of an order with the universe, and we're doing it in a very affirmative way. So we're listing down all the attributes of our soulmate partner. We're not hoping for this. We're not wishing for this. We're writing it down as if it already is. And it's really fun and it's really exciting. So don't take it too seriously. Don't be stressed about it. I think the most important thing about writing the list is not even about the partner. It's about you. Learning who you are, learning your needs, learning what works for you and what you want for yourself. And I think that's the real big aspect here. I always equate it to a restaurant. You know, if you tell the universe, I just want a partner, it's like going to a restaurant and saying, I'm hungry, right? The waiter can bring you food that doesn't guarantee you're gonna like it. Same thing with the universe. You can't just say, oh, I just want to be happy in a partnership. There's lots of people you can be happy with every now and then. There's lots of people you can have partnerships with. But what we're looking for is quality and a great fit to who you are. And I think sometimes the barrier between this is we don't really know ourselves what we want. We really don't know ourselves what we need. To know that, you have to get to know you. And I think that is the most important part, and it's good for you. It's good for you to recognize your own needs, your own boundaries, and where you stand on your journey currently. So this is as much manifesting a partner as it is realizing who you are and what you need. So it's a beautiful journey. It's kind of a growth process. Don't stress out too much. Honestly, when I first started doing this, I had to do it 3 times because I didn't know myself. They worked all 3 times, but every time I manifested that partner, I realized, ooh, I missed that, or ooh, I thought I would like this. And the first time I did it, I was reading a ton of romantic novels, right? So it looked a lot like a character from one of the books. Needless to say, that didn't work for me. And then the second one, learned again, and let's just say after the third, I'm quite happy now. But it is a journey, so have fun with it. Now, before we get into the actual writing, we're going to go over some real key elements that I want you to consider before making this list. So on your first piece of paper, use this kind of like as a rough draft so we can see how we can start it, and we're going to use this to actually make the real list. So the first things first. At the top of the paper, we need to have an affirmative statement, right? So an example, when I did the list, I put my romantic soulmate husband. And then, is this, does that. I did my list. But you have to know what you want. Do you even want to get married? Maybe you just want a life partner. Maybe you just want a girlfriend. Figure out where you're at and sense if there's any resistance to it. Like, okay, no, this feels good. Because we want to make sure that as we write, you have fun and have faith in it. Do you know what I mean? So think of your statement. And I'm saying romantic soulmate because let me tell you some stories. Soulmates are not just romantic. They're very platonic. Your friends can be soulmates. Your siblings can be soulmates. And the universe is very literal. So I've had a couple clients just put my soulmate and they end up just attracting real good friends that they just were not attracted to romantically. Do you know what I'm saying? So tell the universe what you want. That is the statement that I use. You're welcome to use whatever terminology you would like to use. So my romantic soulmate husband, my romantic soulmate life partner, my romantic soulmate girlfriend. Write that at the top. Get your statement nice and clear. Now, once you get your statement clear, we're going to go over some really important things that hopefully will keep you from making as many detours as I did in my journey, but it made me very good at this. So let's go over the key elements. Key element number 1, your values. Values are so important, and for some reason, people overlook them when it comes to manifesting partners or even just dating. So what are your top 3 values? It can be family, spirituality, and health, right? It can be travel, career, and yoga. What is it for you? Take a second, and if you can list them in terms of priority, that would be best. But if you can't, don't worry about it. But take a second and write down your values. Because let me tell you something, whether it's a romantic partner or a potential friend, if you do not share the same values, it does not stick. Because your values dictate how you prioritize your life, the things that you like to do, where you like to spend your time. And those are some really big things you'd want to share with a partner. So just get very clear on this. So as you're making your list, you consider that. So take some time and make sure it resonates with you. Now, key number 2, your love languages. Love languages are so important. Now, for some of you who might not know what the 5 love languages are, let's go through them really quickly. So the 5 love languages are acts of service, quality time, words of affirmation, touch, and gifts. We're all different. I love touch and quality time. So I like somebody who's super affectionate and likes to do things with me all the time. This is something that resonates with me. I want a partnership and a friendship. But for you, it might be acts of service. You just want somebody who's kind and considerate and helps and does things without asking. For some of you, it might be gifts. That's how you display your love. Now, usually people have more than one love language. So don't be afraid to, maybe list all 5 in terms of priority, but take a second and consider it. So for example, if you know that you love touch and quality time, in your list, you're going to want to put he or she is so affectionate with me. They love spending time with me. We do everything together or something like that. It's making sure that as you write your list, you're considering a lot of these aspects yourself. It's interesting. I think sometimes we don't realize our own love languages. So when we have certain relationships, we're not as fulfilled and we don't realize why. You might think, oh, I'm just being needy or, I'm asking too much. You're not being needy and you're not asking too much. You're just recognizing what your needs are and not being afraid to ask for them and to wait to find the right person who meets those needs. Now, on that note, let's go to key number 3. Your needs. Now, I think this is very pivotal because when people do the list, they always think about their wants. Wants are great, but they're often negotiable. Your needs are non-negotiable. What are those things that you're not willing to compromise on? An example, trust and respect are huge to me. Not compromising on them. If you're a liar, no offense, I don't want to try to work with that. That's just not something I'm willing to find a middle ground on. Let's say you're somebody who really wants children and you really want a family. That's something you're looking to do. That's a need because for you, that's a non-negotiable. These are things that you want to have. Think about those areas in your life that are vital to you, things that you're not willing to sacrifice or give up. An example, I'm very family-oriented. I need a partner who is also family-oriented because they're a huge part of my life. It's a non-negotiable. Maybe you're somebody who's super sensitive and emotional. You need somebody who's supportive, understanding, and compassionate. That is a non-negotiable for you. Perhaps you're somebody who really, really loves animals and sentient life and you value a vegan lifestyle. You might need a partner who also values life. That is a non-negotiable. Does that make sense? There's a difference between wants and needs. Wants have a wiggle room for compromise. They are not exactly make or breaks, but needs are make or break deals. So just take a second. Everyone's needs are different and nothing is silly. Trust yourself. What are those things that you really need your partner to have in order for this to be a good relationship for you? What do you need in this relationship in order to invest in it? Okay. Now, some people's needs are not that big. Some people's needs are very long, and that's okay. What I will say is if you have a very long list of needs, no problem. Just go through and double check, are any of these actually wants? Is there any wiggle room on this? Just to be kind of more concise and clear, but there is no judgment on the length or shortness of your needs list. Now, key number 4, experiences. Think about your lifestyle. Think of how you like to live. Think about the journey ahead. What are some key experiences you would love to share with your partner? Example, maybe you want to have kids, so a key experience would be to create a family. So if you think about that experience, some of the things you might want to put on your list is he's an amazing father, very family oriented, and an amazing partner in parenting. Something like that. Think of the experiences you want to have. Let's say you love to travel and see foreign places. If this is something you would like to share with your partner, write that down really quickly, because as you do your list, you might want to say, she loves to travel the world with me. We're always going to exotic places and having amazing time together. You see what I'm saying? What are some experiences you'd like to share? I think some of the most exciting aspects of this particular technique is once you've done it and you go down the line and you have these experiences, it's just looking back, and it's so incredible how you manifested these small details. So it doesn't have to be every single experience. Just think of some of the real big ones that you like to share along your journey with your partner and write it down. And nothing is silly, nothing is ridiculous. You are unique. And so your experiences, your needs, your desires are going to be unique to you. Now, key number 5, meaningful details. Meaningful details are making sure that as we do the list, instead of putting every single little aspect of our journey together, really only putting in the things that really matter to you. These are the things that nobody else would know except you. So an example, I love to garden. I love being in the yard. And in my list, I put a meaningful detail of he brings me home plants and crystals that I could put in my garden. I also was raised with men who fix things around the house. Like my dad always had rough hands because he was always building and fixing. And I love that. To me, that was what a partner should have. So in my list, I put he loves building things. He fixes things around the house and makes me things that I need for my garden. Like I literally put that meaningful detail in and manifested it because that was something big to me. Maybe you like poetry and maybe you guys like to read it together. Maybe you're somebody who has a little quirk and those are the meaningful details to you. Maybe it was having a partner that you always sat down to share dinner with every night and no TV and you just talk about your day and share stories. Maybe that's a meaningful detail you really want to have in your partnership. Sometimes these details can be quite intimate and very personal. So take a second. What are these things that mean something to you that perhaps nobody else would notice, but you would? I think we all know what those are, especially when we go out and we meet people and there's these little things that are off and people are like, that's not a big deal, but it is to you. So put some of those meaningful details down right now. You don't have to put it in the form of the list, just things that matter. Like I want them to be handy or artistic, or they, love to go karaokeing, or like whatever it is those details are for you that matter. What is it that's important to you that, as small as it is, means the world? Do you know what I mean? So now we have those 5 key elements. We have your values, your love languages, your needs, experiences, and meaningful details. Now, if you need to pause this to really flesh this out a little bit more, go for it. But these are the real key elements I teach all of my students to be very aware of, because sometimes you move too fast through it and you manifest somebody and there's a big old gap because you totally forgot about something as you did it. But I feel if you kind of stick to these 5 elements, you should be pretty good. I know, I've done it several times, so you got this. So once you have it, go ahead and rip it off and put it to the side so we can actually begin the list. Now, you already have your statement. You know what you're going to put at the top. My romantic soulmate husband, or my romantic soulmate girlfriend, or whatever terminology is. And this is where I want you to have so much fun with it, because you're writing this as if they're here. They're here now In this moment, it's an affirmative statement. Now you can begin writing, what they look like. You can start putting aspects of their personality and look at your list. Remember to put in those values, like they value family, or they value health and fitness, and we work out together. It's so much fun. You have your love languages, maybe they bring me, beautiful, cute gifts that show me that they love them, or they take out the trash. Enjoy the process. It should be fun. It's almost like you're really feeling them and bringing them into the present moment. It is a powerful way of manifesting. Writing is magic. And now you're putting your visualization and your emotion into it. Put down all these things that matter to you. Yes, looks and what you're attracted to matters. Personality trait matters. Your needs, your values, your love languages all matter. Use your rough draft as a tool to thoughtfully craft this list. Now, if you do it pretty thoroughly, it should be at least 2 pages, so front and back. So take your time. And once you're all done with your list, once you feel confident and good about it, it's okay if it's a little longer. I want you to gently tear out your list because you're going to keep it and we're going to use it later this month in another class. So once you do that, at this point, I always call in divine beings to bless the manifestation. So whether it's the Archangel Raphael, the Archangel of soulmates and love, whether it's your angels, whether it's Divine Mother or the Creator or universe or consciousness or whatever, your higher self, I always ask and say a small prayer to bless this manifestation. May it turn out for my highest good and happiness and well-being. And once you've done that, if you feel open to doing that, you're going to take this list and you're going to read it out loud. You are affirming and placing your order with the universe. So take your list and you're going to start at the top. My romantic soulmate, husband, wife, life partner, girlfriend is this, and that. They do this. Read it all out loud and read it with feeling. Read it all. And once you're done reading it out loud, say thank you. And so it is, with power and with meaning. And then what you're going to do is you're going to fold it up. And I always tell people to put it somewhere safe, usually like your sock drawer or your lingerie drawer. Put it away. Do not carry it with you. Put it away so if you have to look at it again, or if later, which usually happens, you remember other details you want to add, you can pull it back out and add it. Now, if you do add it later on, reread it out loud again, affirm it, fold it up, and put it away, and just let the magic begin. I've heard stories of people doing this and it worked in as little as 2 weeks. So I think what matters most is your heartfelt intention and taking that time and being very thoughtful and putting your emotion and joy and excitement into it and welcoming in the divine aspects to bless it and to help bring it to a happy culmination, a happy fruition. I want you guys to have fun. Let me know in the comments. Let me know, in our community, or send me an email. Tell me your stories and your experiences afterwards. I think that is the most fulfilling part for me. I'm so excited for you guys. I'm wishing you so much joy and love this month, and I will see you next week for next week's class. Take care.